Many of the officers know out there that police officers do transgress and they do abuse their power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've seen it many times, but I want to assure the police officers that we know that they are very good officers out there. I have worked with very good officers out there. Remember, I came from the DPP,
Yes,
and I rely on police officers, and I know that they are good officers out there. But it's this small minority of officers who transgress and abuse their powers. That is the ones that we have to bring to book, and by doing that, it makes the police service come to a better light. And I know the police, the good ones, want the help of the public. They always want the help of the public, and we are there to ensure that we can assist the police in letting the public trust you. Because I live in Trinidad.
and that is important. That is important because if folks feel that they have all the confidence and confidentiality in giving information, they may give you information they would not give to the police officers, and you can, in fact, your agency can be of assistance to them.
Exactly. That is exactly correct.
It is 21 minutes after 10 o'clock. The voice you're hearing is that of Director of the PCA, David West. He's with us this morning. I started at the beginning dealing with the prosecutorial power of the agency. You did answer me, but how you said it's being addressed. How far afield, how long do we have to wait before a body like yours, the PCA, is in fact given the power to prosecute, follow through on these things and see them to completion?
Well, I'll just back up a bit. The deputy director and myself met with the DPP on this matter because, of course, we wanted to make sure we had full consultation when these matters go to Parliament and support.
Mm-hmm.
And the director of the DPP was very in favor of the prosecutorial powers because he felt that a body such as ours that investigates our own matters from the complaints to the end of the matter, we should be able to prosecute our own matters.
Mm-hmm.
The only caveat would be is that we'll have to apply for fiat, which is his permission to prosecute.
Mm-hmm.
But once the evidence is there, he will go ahead and, like any other private citizen,
Yes.
applying for a fiat
Mm-hmm.
and to get it. So we will get prosecutorial powers.
Got it.
He's in favor of that. So therefore, I'm hopefully ending. I hope that I'll have a happy Christmas this year, and by Christmas time or before, by October, November, these powers would come true fruition.
One of the areas that I've heard often mentioned, and we're talking about the powers of the PCA, is where folks say, for instance, I know some police officers who are living way beyond their means. I know of a couple of things happening that we all know. It seems as though somebody's on the take. Of course, that's conversation in the public domain. The FIU is going to be something that would be useful to your organization, would it not, as far as sharing information?
Yes, it is. And
Is that the case now?
the FIU, under the amendments to the Financial Obligations Regulations 2014, the FIU can pass information to a body such as ours,
Mm-hmm.
and there is collaboration with us and the FIU on those matters.
You are not privy to the database. You can make requests and have that information sent to you. Is that what you're saying?
No, well, what is that? It's a mutual. In that if it is that we're investigating Officer AB,
Mm-hmm.
Officer X or Y, we can ask a request to the FIU that, listen, we're investigating this officer. Do you have any information, or is he on your radar?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that helps you. I know another area in looking at the article, a very useful article in the Express today, in which you give the interview. You were saying in the case of crime scenes and so on, you want to get an amendment done to the Firearms Act. Why is that?
Because currently, as I said, we are a civilian oversight body.
Mm-hmm.
So there are no police officers within the PCA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So therefore, if we went to a crime scene, and this is one of the amendments we want to also have, is that we want to be able to secure the crime scene. So if we go to a crime scene and there's a firearm in the hands of the deceased person
Mm-hmm.
or on the road, we cannot seize that firearm. Right? It's the police officers to seize that firearm.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want the police, as they say, Mr. Pandey and Mr. Manning said, you
Yes.
don't want the police.
Investigating itself.
So if the police are alleged to have shot that person, either in self-defense or in aggression, you do not want the police to then handle that firearm and do what with it, and then carry it to the Forensic Science Center.
There is also the argument that at many crime scenes where there's police shooting, folks are suspected of becoming agriculturists in the sense that they plant stuff.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
that is why we have to be able to cordon off that crime scene, and therefore the integrity of the crime scene becomes solely the responsibility of the PCA. You cannot have any police officer investigating that crime scene because you don't know what can happen. All right, and the police officers also should not want any aspersions cast on them. That even sometimes even the public says, yeah, we saw the police officer empty his all the casings, but really and truly there were only 2 shots fired.
Yes.
The public sometimes, the public in their outrage and their emotional state exaggerate, okay, and it to the detriment of the police. And we as the investigators have to take a reasoned and clear, balanced approach. And then if the evidence points to only 2 shots fired, well, that is what the evidence says.
It is not ill intent, but often, as you said, the passion of the moment, folks account for things that never happen.
Exactly.
You are in charge of dealing with police officers and their conduct. The question last week at the Joint Select Committee hearing, National Security, the Assistant Commissioner, the Acting Commissioner of Police before the Disciplinary Committee was asked about a day of policing. He said that these matters are in the hands of the PCA. Is that so? And if it is the PCA satisfied with the report that there is errant at best or illegal at worst reasons to take action against divisional heads or beat police officers?
Well, that question, I don't want to answer that question because we are investigating that matter. Okay?
I see. Okay.
And I don't want to answer that question because I don't want anybody to say that I'm biased and I've made up my mind already, and therefore any report speaking to that would then be say that is null and void because the authority was biased. So I cannot, and that is the reason why I did not appear before the Joint Select Committee, because I do not want it to be said, and we have spent a lot of time and money and resources into this matter to end up for naught.
Give me an estimated time folks can expect the PCA to have a report on this day of policing. Estimated time.
Well, you see, I don't want to bog down. I don't want to put any pressure on. All I will say is that it has been investigated. We are nearing completion. Okay. It is some aspects of the report are being written up now. So I know that. So therefore, we will do it as soon as possible. Now,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, there's a process in that once the report is completed, the authority will take advice on it from a legal counsel, because we want to make sure that what we put out in the public domain, the integrity could stand, and we do not want to be sued for any defamation or any action taken against us. Mm-hmm. Okay, so therefore, I bear with me, the public and everybody that wants the matter. Bear with me. It is being done, and what I can guarantee you that once it is completed and it's in the public domain, the quality of that report would be second to none.
I'm happy that you have locked both of those together, because sometimes in our rush to get things done, the quality done in the investigation, the crossing the T's and dotting the I's, create a problem, because what's the use of going after people and the next thing you know, your case does not stand up. So I understand the need to.
Let me further that the investigators have promised me that every sentence that or every paragraph that they've written can be backed up by evidence.
Beautiful.
All right.
Director David West is my guest this morning. Are you disturbed, sir, by the claim of Keon Cluster, for instance? He was the main witness in the Vivian Paul Coleman case, that he was coerced by the police into implicating the other accused. Here is my question on this. Post-trial of allegations like these, does that warrant, and is the PCA going in to investigate that claim, for instance, by this Keon Cluster, that he was in fact coerced? I mean, often we hear folks say, the police pushed me into this, I was forced into this statement. Is that something that falls under the PCA to look into now? It has gone through court. Nobody has complained to you, but it has gone through court. You have seen it. You have seen where clearly from the judgment of the jury or the judge decision that, something here was not too right. Is that something that the PCA will move on its own initiative to investigate, or a complaint must be made?
You see, when complaints are made against police officers like this, you have to reflect on them. Okay, and you cannot just rush into it. Now, I'm not saying what he is saying is not truthful, but if it is that he is saying that, come and make a complaint to the police.
Yes, okay.
Now, I have not discussed it with the deputy director, but it is something that I would not want to go ahead and launch an investigation for that, because that will be a big investigation and take a lot of manpower. And when we come to interview him, he says, no, I'm not saying anything. You understand? I don't want to waste our time.
That is exactly what I wanted to make clear. What is the process? In the case of many people say the police forced me into doing this or forced me into saying this, but they must make the complaint, or they should make the complaint to speed the process along, is what you're saying.
Yes, if you make the complaint and give us a statement, a comprehensive statement, then it helps us narrow in or zero in on our investigation, and it helps us complete the investigation quicker. By him saying that, we now have to go and look and see who the officer was, what was said, what was the allegation, and it takes a lot of time. So if it is that Mr. Gloucester wishes to come into the PCA and make a report on the officer's conduct, that falls within our remit as serious police misconduct. Okay, and we can investigate it.
We raised before, the director of the PCA, Director David West, is with me in the time we have. We raised before the question of, we know the citizenry can come to you. We know the public can come to you with a complaint. But a member of the police service himself seeing some things going on, and he is afraid to say anything. One, because, there's a thing called friendly fire. There's a thing called things to, to stymie your growth in the service. There's something called retaliation and victimization. He's wondering, how do I bring this forward and who do I bring it to, and the level of confidentiality that will be append to this if I went ahead and do it.
Right.
Can a police officer come to you with a problem about police officers?
And the answer is yes.